Are you trying to save money but feel overwhelmed? I'm going to show you a fast and easy way to track every dollar that is being spent. Hello, everybody. I just want to go through what I use here to keep track of my monthly expenses and my budget. So I create this Google spreadsheet and I make it so everything, once I punch in like all my expenses for the month and everything, it'll automatically shoot out the numbers for me. So if any of your expenses change over month or you add more, it'll automatically calculate everything for you. And this really simplifies the process. So I'm going to just go through and show you how I quickly set this up. So right now I have a blank sheet here, but I just want to show you quick. This is how it will look. But just to start it here, I'll usually just like change the color on the top to whatever color you like. I like this like teal green or whatever it is. And then I'll put all these headings in here. So expenses, amount, total expenses, your monthly gross, HST, tax, monthly net income, and net pay after expenses. So for most people, they won't put HST. I put HST because I'm self-employed. So I actually have to calculate my HST as well. So for you, you might not have that, but you might just have tax. So I just want to explain that. And so here we go. So for example, I'll just start by putting in rent. So I'll throw in a random number, 1,000. Now, if you put the number in, just a little tip, and it doesn't change it to a currency automatically, you can go up to format, number, and click on currency, and that'll change it. Like right now, if I change it to number, or if I click on this one, format, change it to number, it'll go to a regular number, but for now we want currency. So it's just a little tip there, just in case for the newbies here that don't use Google Sheets. So say we have that, and let's say our total expenses, that will be, so what we're going to do here is you'll create formulas. Google Sheets awesome. So you'll have a little formula here. And when you have all of these rows filled, this will actually punch in the number for you automatically. So if you have like 4,000 worth of expenses here, it'll punch that number into here for you automatically. So what you'll do is you'll equal sum bracket, and then you'll do this cell here is you can just click on it, B2 to B14, or sorry, B2, and then go plus, or sorry, do colons like that. So it does everything else to B as far as you want to go down. So if you have 20 things here, you can go to B20, whatever you want, right? So for this sake, we're at B14. I'm only going down to 14. So I'll do 14, another bracket. And then as you see, it kind of lights up the box here. Then you'll hit enter. Okay. And then it takes my total expenses here. So now watch, if I punch in, say 200 for gas for the month, just as an example, it automatically will update that. Now, if I go hydro, say 150, it'll automatically do that, right? So it just keeps everything there, so you don't have to change it. If you ever change these numbers, say, okay, my rent went up to 1,200 a month, say, boom, it just punches it in for you, so you don't have to update everything. And this really will keep track of your total expenses, okay? So your monthly gross, that'll be what you actually bring in. Now, for me, like if you have to pay your own taxes and stuff, I'm going to show for people that are self-employed or whatever. But a lot of times, like if you work at a place, they'll take your HST off, they'll take your tax off your paycheck. So you won't have to worry about this. But I'm going to show this for anybody that is self-employed as well. So their monthly gross, or in case you ever want to be self-employed, this is a good thing to have. So say you bring in, now say if you are working for somebody as an employee, you can get rid of these two fields here and not worry about HST and tax, okay? So say maybe you'll just do your monthly net, you'll change this from monthly gross to your monthly net, you'll just have this one. And say if you might have, well, I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. But I'm gonna, for the self-employed people, I'm going to show this quick. So monthly gross, let's say, for example, you bring in 5,000 a month. Now you have to take your HST, your tax off of that. So in Canada, I'm in Ontario, we're going to say your 13% HST. So equals the sum of, so this cell here, so it's D, this is D, this is your column, and these are your rows. So D2. And then a star would be times. So that's to multiply, would be the star key. And then 0.13, and that's for the percentage. So it's 13% HST in Ontario, and then equals. Now that will automatically calculate that for me. So I know this 650 is 13% of 5,000. So if I had to put away my HST off of this monthly gross, there's my $650. So I would do the same for tax. So say you pay 15% tax, okay? So same thing. What you'll do is equals sum, and then same thing. You want to tax this money, so you select that cell D2 times 0. Say you pay 20% tax, you put 20. You pay 15. Well, for the sake of this, we'll do 15% tax, okay? And this is really good because then you know how much you actually have to put away each month. So say if I make 5,000 gross being self-employed, this is doing the work for me. So if my pay went up to, say I made for the 1 month, and you can duplicate these sheets, say I make 7,000 1 month, it'll automatically punch in those numbers for me. So I don't have to figure out the HST or tax, and then I can just put that away in a savings account for when I have to pay those expenses. Okay. So that's how we do that. And then your monthly net income. So what I'm going to do for this, for me, I know my net is my gross minus my HST and my tax. So that is my monthly net income. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go equals sum. I'm going to select D2, subtract E2, right? Because we want to deduct that off of it. Subtract F2. You can click on them or you can type them in. It makes no difference. And then you hit enter. Now, boom. So we know here 750 plus 650, that equals to be $1,400. 1,400 off my 5,000, 3,600. So boom, right? So now if I changed anything, like it'll automatically update the other cells. And that's the great thing about this. Okay. So now my net pay after tax, after expenses. Okay. So now that would be my total expenses my monthly net income minus my total expenses. So I know this is what I would take home. So for anybody that isn't self-employed, maybe an employee, this would be, you would just punch this in. If you had, say you get your paycheck after 2 weeks and it's $3,600. Okay. I punch that in there. You don't have to worry about the HST and tax bracket. Okay. And you don't have to worry about the monthly gross either, because you just get net income, right? Unless you want to track your taxes for other purposes, you don't need to do that if you're employed. You just do this part. Self-employed, this is more for self-employed, these 3 cells here. Okay. So your monthly net income. So what we want to do is we want to figure out all of our expenses. So say you pay $50 a month in water, vehicle insurance, let's say $100. So your payments are $400 a month, truck, right? And then let's say your gas is whatever, $100, you don't drive much, phone bill, $80 maybe. And as you see, as I'm typing these in, it is updating them here. So that's like, it's automatically punching those numbers in for you because we did that formula at the beginning. Okay. And that's the beautiful thing about this. You don't have to add anything yourself. It does all the calculations for you. So let's say food, 200. Okay. Dog food. So you got a dog, subscriptions. And I just kind of use this based on like mine. Now it's going to be different for everybody. You punch whatever expenses you want in here. I recommend going your main expenses and kind of going and really thinking through all of your expenses that you have. That way you can see how much you actually need to like just to pay for your expenses, right? As you see already, just by punching this in here, we're already up to $2,500 a month. So that's quite a bit just for expenses for one person. depending on your job or whatever. So you have 50 bucks in subscriptions. And this is the good thing about it. Like if you wanted to, I'll show you in a second, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So say miscellaneous, I just say like, say if you know you're gonna go out like a few times a month, um, or like maybe you want to give yourself 200 bucks a month for extra spending. This is what, because it's really hard to stick to a really tight budget, but if you have the extra income to do that, and but you want to you don't want to spend like $1,000, you actually want to track how much you're spending. This is a great thing to do for this. So you got a $50 gym membership. So I just kind of put a bunch of random things in here. It's going to be different for everybody, like I said. So now, as you see, we get up to $2,880 in total expenses per month. Okay, monthly gross 5,000, after taxes 3,600. So now what we're going to do, this is our take home after taxes. So this is what you actually get in your bank on your paycheck after you take your taxes off. And what you're going to do now is take your total monthly net income. So you're going to go equals sum. This is net pay after expenses. So this is what you're going to pay yourself after you take care of all your bills and all these expenses. Okay. So sum of G2, subtract your total expenses, which is C2. So C2, okay, boom. So so now as you see, your expenses are 2,800 a month. You bring in 3,600 a month after your taxes, and you know you have $720 left per month. Okay, so the good thing about this is like if you actually save that up every month. So if you actually stuck really tight to this budget and you save that up every month, you're looking at about saving about $8,000 or $9,000 a year. 10 months would be 7,200. So yeah, you're looking at another 1,400 on top of that. So you're looking at $8,800 in savings is what you would save in a year if you kind of stuck to a budget. Now it's going to be different for everybody. You might not even really get that much after, like if you make 4,000, say like, look, we just changed this number just to test it out. The calculations are all in there, right? But you're actually, you're dead even after that, right? So when I've changed that number here, the monthly gross. So if I go back to 5,000, boom, it automatically will switch the numbers for me. So now you can just go in, say you make 4,500 a month, boom, right? So it's going to automatically change it for you. So you will change this column if you're just if you get a paycheck every 2 weeks as an employee, and then it'll automatically spit this number out for you. But because I changed the gross, it automatically takes the taxes off for me. So 4,000. So if I made 4,000, I would literally be breaking even after all my expenses. After I pay taxes and then all my expenses, I would literally break even. So I know for me, like if these were my expenses, I would need to make at least even 4,500. Okay, I get 360 a month. That's not bad. If you save that, if you're actually frugal and can save that, that's decent. So I just wanted to give a really easy breakdown on this because like you can kind of look at these, your expenses. Now, say if you were at 4,000, okay, for example, because we're broken even, you can't save anything here. Now, what you can kind of do is reassess these. And it's like, okay, well, where can I maybe cut costs? Like, maybe subscriptions. You might even just say, okay, well, let's cut it down in half. Right. So now you're down, you got 25 bucks. Are you able to do maybe not spend 200 on miscellaneous stuff, maybe spend 100 for a while, save some money right there. You just went up to an extra 125 a month. Okay. Let's see. Some of these are absolutely like you don't really have a choice on them, like your rent, obviously, all the stuff that's fixed pricing, like all this stuff. Maybe you can look into getting a cheaper phone bill somewhere, food, budgeting a little bit. But yeah, so it's kind of different, but then at least you went from zero, so you can kind of see how you can play around with the numbers and it'll automatically punch it in for you. Okay, so I just wanted to show that to you guys. I use this for a budget for myself. This is really helpful for me, because if I know I'm making 4,000 a month and then I have to take off my taxes and everything, I know I'm left over with 2,880, and then I know I have to keep my expenses relatively low, right? So it's just something to think about. This really will help you hopefully save some money. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I was unclear about, or if you need help with anything else like this, um, or let me know kind of what your experience is with maybe doing budgets like this, or any comments or encourage. So I appreciate everybody watching, and thank you.